Good evening. Welcome to Canfield High School. Welcome to live music in our auditorium. We're so glad that you're here. You know, everything is different. If you haven't figured this out, everything is different in the year of COVID, right? We don't usually start by talking. We come out and we it's guns a-blazing and maybe throw some interjection here or there. But I just wanted to take a moment to, first of all, thank you for coming out. Thank you for trusting us, that we put a plan in place for you to come and listen to music safely. But more importantly, thank you for trusting us here at the high school with your kids. I have to tell you, Mr. Jevin and I were just talking, and this was the common discussion all through the fall, during marching band, during the summer, during marching band, and up to this point, is how resilient all of our kids are, but especially our band kids. We have thrown everything at them, and they have complied 99.99% of the time. So they're just truly amazing young men and women. It gives me great hope, in a day when we tend to, criticize young people for being self-centered and selfish. It gives me hope that they have been so selfless through this whole ordeal. And they're willing to listen and create this music that you're about to hear. So, freshman parents, I don't know most of you. It's really bizarre. Usually we have Meet the Pride and we have a pasta dinner and I make my way around and I introduce myself. So hopefully at some point I'm going to see you without the mask and we're going to have a conversation and I'm going to get to meet you. But thank you for our freshman parent. The freshman class has been truly outstanding. We're going to start our program with a piece called Fidelity March by Ohio-born Carl King. March is not only the NCAA March Madness tournament, but it's also the Marine Band March Mania tournament. And the kids have filled out a bracket and they have picked all these marches, and each day across the country, kids vote for the favorite march and it puts them into the next bracket. So several of the marches on there are by Carl King. John Philip Sousa was known as the March King, but Carl King was coined the nickname America's March King. He wrote a gazillion marches in his time, and this is just one of them, called Fidelity March. We hope you enjoy it. Thank you. Our next piece of music is a little different. It's by a Japanese composer named Kate Nishimura, and it is it's a piece that's supposed to evoke some imagery and a feeling. So the composer writes, "Chasing sunlight was inspired by the experiences of driving west into the setting sun." Excuse me. As if trying to keep up with the Earth's rotation to catch the last few rays of light before dusk. The steady eighth note motive throughout the piece represents the sense of urgency, while the soaring lyrical themes depict warmth and radiance of the sun in the low sky. Just as the sun will always set, humans must accept the impermanence of this, all things in life, and make the most out of every opportunity before it passes. So at the end, you're going to kind of hear the band slow down. It's almost like coming into a train station, I think it sounds like. It's the idea that we've caught the sun. And we all know that in Ohio, this could be Ohio's theme song, right? Chasing the sun. So I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you. Before we play our last selection, I just want to publicly thank two of our administrators that are here tonight for making this possible. First of all, I want to thank Mr. Shields. I know he's running around somewhere. Mr. Shields has been so awesome this year in working just overtime, making sure that we are safe here at Canfield. He came in and retaped the seats for us so we could sit as family members instead of spread out. So, Mr. Shields, wherever you are, we want to thank you. If you give him a round of applause. And I would like to also publicly thank our new superintendent, although he probably feels like he's been here for 10 plus years this year. Mr. Knoll. Mr. Knoll has been very instrumental in making this happen, and I want to thank him publicly for trusting us to be able to hold something like this when a lot of the schools in the areas are not. And so if you haven't had a chance to talk with Mr. Knoll or see Mr. Knoll, I hope you get that chance soon. He's an outstanding man, and we're very thankful to have him here. So, Mr. Knoll, wherever you are, thank you very much. Okay, before we play our last tune, just ask that if you could exit quickly so that we can get the air circulated in for the next group, and we need to spray the seats down. I would very much appreciate that. You'll go the way you came in, and the students will also go out the back here the way they came in. So our last piece is by another Ohio composer named James Swearingen. His resume as being a band director and a composer really speaks for itself. But one of the things, if you're an Ohio State Buckeye fan, Mr. Swearingen arranges most of the music. Not most. He has arranged a lot of the music that the Pride of the Buckeyes play, the Ohio State Marching Band, including that awesome fanfare. If you ever go to a game, the New Era fanfare that they always play before the team comes out. So this is another piece that is supposed to take you on a musical journey. It starts out very calm, almost like you wake up in the morning ready to take a whitewater rafting ride with friends, nice calm morning, and then quickly the adventure begins. So we hope you enjoy James Swearingen's River's Fury. Thank you very much, and thank you for being here. It's so exciting to be able to experience live music again in our auditorium. So I want to just thank you for being here. We started off with a rousing opening march called Proud Heritage by the British composer William Latham. And as you listen to that march, a couple things should have came to mind. It should have sounded folksy, like it was based on a British folk song. And then maybe, if you've watched enough royal weddings, almost like it was something that you would see on TV when the English royalty would get married. So, and that would be the intent of a march like that. It's very, very ceremonial. And we're going to move to another English composer, Sir Edward Elgar, who wrote a set of variation called the Enigma Variations. And if you don't know what enigma means, it means something we're not quite sure of. We're not how to take, we don't really understand it. And the whole idea through these variations was they were kind of his way of just kind of playing jokes, musical jokes, having some things in there that people really don't understand, or you had to kind of figure it out. So this variation is one of the most popular and probably one of the most recognizable, and it's called the Nimrod variation. Now, I don't know about you, but when I was a kid, my dad often referred to me as a Nimrod. And so before I became a musician and went to college, I always thought Nimrod meant goof, right? Screw up, goofball, you're such a Nimrod, sit down. Little did I know that Nimrod from the Old Hebrew means hunter, right? Noble one. And then, so this variation was written for his very good friend, whose last name was Jaeger. And Jaeger is the word for hunter. So that was his way of paying homage, and he was a music critic in England. So that was his way of paying homage to his good friend Jaeger, who was a fine music critic in England at the time. I'm almost positive you're going to recognize this piece, especially if you watched the recent movie that it was in called Dunkirk. So here is the very beautiful Nimrod variation, or Nimrod from Elgar's Enigma Variations. Our next selection is going to feature three of our senior percussion members. It's a novelty piece. You're gonna tap your toe. You probably might even hum it on your way out. And I think it's a good time too now to tell you how proud I am of all our band kids here at Canfield. You know, this has been a challenge and difficult on all of us, to say the least. And you know, we have been at this since the end of July. And everything we've thrown at the students as far as requirements and, you know, guidelines and rules, they have taken them and run with them. We have very few instances, not only just in our band rehearsals, but in the school in general. The kids have just been remarkable. And to me, you know, that in a time where we think teenagers are self-centered and selfish, the things that they have demonstrated over these last 6 months or so have shown us that they are also very capable of being selfless. So I'm so very, very proud of them. To play those first two pieces of music at the level like that, when you have masks on and you're in this goofy setup. You know, if you've been coming to these concerts, you know we don't sit like this. It's very actually anti-music making to kind of sit this way. But they have run with it, and so we are so very proud of them for doing that. And it all starts with our leadership. And my son graduated last year. He had, you know, 3/4 of his school year. You know, at the end it was rough because he didn't, you know, he missed some things. And I always said to him when he would get down, I said, Ethan, be lucky you had what you had, because I think it's going to be really hard on the class of 2021. Because they're going to have to go through this the whole entire year. You just had to go through it for a couple of months. And I'm telling you, these seniors have been awesome. They, like I said, they've done everything we've asked them to do. We never have had such high attendance rates for summer band, probably because they were tired of being home and locked up. So, but they were awesome, and I'm just in awe of them. I really am. So we're going to feature three of them right now. These are from the percussion section. They're going to play a mallet trio, and I'm going to have a move because they're usually a little closer, so I'm going to move over. But we have Senior Mira Sethi, Madison Zetz, and Ty Schaub. And this is Serenade for a Picket Fence. And you guys can move down. Okay, before we play our last selection, just a couple thank yous. First of all, thank you for trusting us enough to come out and sit in an auditorium and hear live music. That really means a lot to us, that you feel that we have put things in place to keep you safe, so we're very thankful for that. We have some administrators in the performance tonight. First of all, I'd like to thank Mr. Shields, our assistant principal here at Canfield. Mr. Shields has been just a workhorse during these COVID times, making sure that the building is safe, and he and Mr. Moldovan just, the extra work, we just really, really appreciate it. And I want to thank our new superintendent of schools. If you had not had a chance to meet Mr. Knoll yet, I would really encourage you to call or email him and for nice things. He needs to hear some nice things, because he came aboard in some very tough times, and he's a good guy, and I'm not just saying that because he signs my paychecks, but I really mean that. And he was, wasn't sure about this, and we kind of showed him we think we can do it, and he trusted us, and I'm glad he did, and I hope we haven't let him down. But please introduce yourself to Mr. Knoll if you have not. I also want to thank Dr. Sethi and George and Jeff, who are up in the lighting booth. We will have the performances on the YouTube channel, so the folks that couldn't be here in person will be able to at least see the kids play a recorded portion of that. We're going to close our portion of the concert with one of my very favorite band composers, Alfred Reed. Alfred Reed music always makes me smile. It's just beautiful, old-school band music, and I know that means nothing to most of you. I understand that, but he just writes with it's very exciting music, and his slow sections are very, very beautifully done. And I thought this piece was very appropriate for us this time of year, and it's called Jubilant Overture. So it is with great jubilance that we close the program with Alfred Reed's Jubilant Overture. you.